So apparently we shouldn't have the death penalty for humanitarian reasons. Oh really? Well, did you know that the majority of people who are put on death row are murderers? Did you know that? Well, you probably did. Oh well, there's like a little percent, like what, 4% I heard of them are just false penalized. Yeah, that's wrong. Obviously we need to do something about that. Well, how do you get such a huge number? Oh well, 4% false conviction. Okay, well, if there's false conviction, that's obviously indicative of the burden of proof. We need to raise the burden of proof so that it's just like, yeah, there was no chance of you being falsely prosecuted. Okay, well, now what? Now we change the burden of proof, because that's clearly the problem if we have that high of a false conviction rate. Like, what else do you attribute that to, right? So you change that. That's the first thing. Should be very obvious. Okay, so the next thing you do is that you have that question. Okay, so you could have people, so like the people who are getting the death penalty, who are their victims? So that's right, someone who they murdered, probably. Why do you get a death penalty? Things like that. Okay, so school shooting victim, let's say, and we don't even need to go to that. Any victim, any, like, let's say your kids died, your parents were murdered, your kids were murdered. You have the human right. If that person is dead, your loved one is dead, you have the human right. This is, again, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, revenge is a human right. If if that person, they took out somebody else's life, they knew what would happen to them, okay? So they brought that upon themselves first thing. But like that person, like if you get to, like, your loved one, you will never get to see them again. This person is the reason for that. You have the human right, again, a human right, of knowing that while your loved one, you're never gonna get to see them again because of this person isn't going to be alive. That is just human decency. That's a human right. And like the last thing is, okay, well, it's like, even if they did that, maybe they don't deserve to die. Well, and obviously their victims didn't deserve to die either, right? But it's like, okay, lesser of two evils, right? Like, just doing more wrong doesn't really help. Oh, really? Okay, doing more wrong doesn't help. Well, we've already established revenge is a human right. So it's like, okay, well, you'd be violating the human rights of the guilty party, the person who brought this upon themselves, again. So this is really up to, okay, so what should we prioritize here? Should we prioritize the human rights of the person who brought this upon themselves, the guilty party, or the innocent party, the victims? And it's like, I don't see how this is a question. Like, you see, this is polling in the majority, the death penalty. Why is anyone against the death penalty? Are they against human rights? Are they against the 8th Amendment, against cruel and unusual punishment? You know who you're cruelly and unusually punishing? The innocent party. You're telling them, you're spitting in their face. You're telling them, okay, well, that person got to kill your kids or your parents. Well, while you will have to live the rest of your life knowing, I'm not gonna get to see my loved ones again. This person murdered them, but this person gets to live. My loved one doesn't, they do. Is that really a civilized society? Is that, like, that's barbaric, is what that is. Let's just call it what it is. It's barbaric. Not having the death penalty is barbaric. So, well, here was my rant. I am high as fuck, and I'm about to go to bed. But, you know what? I thought I, had a pretty good trail of thought going. So, I hope y'all enjoyed that trail of thought. And I'm gonna shut the fuck up now.